Good morning, students. Today we are starting with the very first chapter of geography, that is resources and development. What are resources? Resources are everything available in the environment such as mineral, labor, livestock, etc. that can be used to satisfy our needs. In other words, material which are technologically accessible, economically feasible and culturally acceptable are termed as resources. My dear students, when I am saying technologically accessible, I mean to say the technology needed to use a resource must be available so that we can extract it and make proper use of it. Economically feasible means we must have enough money to extract it and use it. It should be feasible for everyone. Feasible means it should be affordable. Culturally acceptable means the resource must be accepted by the people. It must not disturb or hurt their sentiments, culture, surroundings, etc. Means everybody should be in the condition to accept it. It should not be harmful for anyone. Now, when you have the definition of resources, now we'll come to classification of resources. Based on origin, we have two types of resources, that is biotic and abiotic resources. Biotic resources, resources that are obtained from biosphere. Students, see the spelling, biosphere, biotic, and are living are termed as biotic resources. Example, flora and fauna, humans, livestock, etc. Abiotic resources. All the non-living things in the environment are termed as abiotic resources. Everything around us. Example, rocks and minerals. Then comes to resources based on exhaustibility. We have renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Renewable resources, the name itself says renewable. Resources which have the ability to renew themselves and can be reproduced by physical, chemical or mechanical processes. Example, solar energy, water, etc. We don't need to charge the sun, right? It rises every day when its time comes. Then come to non-renewable resources. The resources which form after a very long geological time. Geological time means millions of years are known as non-renewable resources. Example, we have fossil fuels. Then on the basis of ownership. On the basis of ownership, we have individual resources. The resources which are owned by people individually, example, houses, clothes, cars, scooters, bikes, etc. Community owned. These resources are accessible to all the members of the community. Example, village ponds, picnic spots, then you have parks, etc. Then comes to national resources. In general, all the resources which are available in a country can be termed as national resources. So, for national resources, we have these resources are accessible to all the citizens of the nation. Example, roads, railways, etc. Roads, railways, etc. are not the property of anyone individually. It belongs to the nation. So, these are the national resources. After national resources, we have international resources. These are the resources which belong to all the countries of the world. I am highlighting this, all the countries of the world. Example, water, seas and oceans, etc. Oceanic resources beyond 200 nautical miles of the exclusive economic zone. That is an area of coastal water and seabed which lie within a certain distance of a country's coastline are termed as international resources. The use of these resources are regulated by established international organizations. On the basis of status of development, we have potential resources. Potential resources. These resources are available in a region but have not been utilized yet. You have the resources, but it has not been utilized yet. Example, the western part of India have great potential for the development of wind and solar energy. But so far, these have not been developed properly. So, we are not using it. Developed resources. These resources are surveyed and their quality and quantity have been determined for utilization. It means we are using it. Then comes to stock. The resources which have potential to satisfy human needs. Again, the resources which have potential to satisfy human needs. But we, the people, do not have the appropriate technology to access that. For example, water, a compound of two inflammable gases, hydrogen and oxygen, which can be used as a rich source of energy, but we do not have the required technical know-how to use them, hence they are still considered as stock. Then comes reserves. You keep some money reserved for your, buying a gift for your friend. Like you have something reserved every time, you will be having one or the other thing reserved for the future uses. Reserves, the stock which can be accessed with the help of existing technology, means we have the technology to access that resource, but their use has not been started. We are not using it. They are kept for meeting future requirement. Means you have the technology but you are not using it. You are keeping it for meeting the future requirement. For example, river water can be used for generating hydroelectricity, but presently it is being utilized only to a limited extent. Hence, water in dams, forests, etc. are a reserve. Just like you keep your pocket money reserve for buying something tomorrow. So my dear students, after going through all these points, let's answer few questions. What are resources? So you have the definition of resources, right? Second, how resources can be classified. Thank you so much, students. Stay tuned for the next class. Thank you.